Hello, everyone. Good morning. How is everybody doing? Thank you so much for popping in and writing with me this morning. I am very, very excited to get work done. I'm so happy to see so many of you already in the comment section. Oh my gosh. Good morning, Micah. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so happy to see that you're here. Hi, Haley. Oh, I love how everybody is saying hi to each other too. This is good. This is such a fun group. We always have so much fun doing these. Hello, everybody. I am so happy that you're here. Hi, Micah. Good morning. Hi, Piper. Oh, I'm so glad that you got up early. Yeah, I'm a total early bird and have been getting up super early to write this week and have been getting so much done. I don't know, just something about waking up early just like makes my head way clearer than me trying to write in the afternoon. I don't know, it helps. Hi, Michaela. Thank you so much for coming, and I hope that you'll be able to stick around and write with us. Hi, Renee. Thank you also for coming. I sound like a total broken record. I'm just not used to having so many of you guys in the comments so early in the stream. Good morning, Diane. Thank you so much for coming as well. Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, I usually don't wear my glasses when I do live streams, but my eyes are terrible and just like really notoriously awful. So I wear contacts, and now I am wearing glasses because I didn't feel like putting my contacts in this morning. I just got new glasses. These are new. I had another pair that I didn't like as much, but I think that these are cute. I've been wearing them a lot this week. I like them. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really excited about them. I got this pair, and then I got another pair that's like very I think very thin wire frames that are kind of funky and fun. I haven't had a pair like that before, so I've been having a lot of fun with these new glasses. Hi, Isadora. Oh, I'm so happy that you could make it. Oh, what are you guys going to be working on this morning? I have been in like book revision madness this week because I have to send the sequel to my book off to the printer. So I have some paperbacks ready for my ARC team like a month from now, and it is not fully written yet. So I'm like right now on chapter 12 today, or no, I am sending chapter 13 to my editor this morning, which is probably the first thing that I'm going to do when we start sprinting. And then I'm going to write chapter 14. I have like my original draft, but because I changed the timeline of a couple of things, I need to change the order in which things happen in chapter 14. So I'm going to have to edit that and then send that off to my editor also probably later today or tomorrow. So yeah, total revision craziness trying to get this book ready to be read. So it's exciting. It's just also like so much work. Oh, I'm getting new glasses soon. Yes, that's awesome. I love getting new glasses. It's so much fun to like go to the place and try all of them on. I didn't have anybody in the store with me when I tried all of mine on. So I just, chose the ones that I liked. But it's also a little bit hard to tell when you're wearing a mask how the glasses look with your face. So I'm just happy that I ended up really liking them. It could have just been a total disaster. Drafting. Awesome. Cool. How many pages are my chapters? Oh, so my chapters, I'm not exactly sure the pages because I change the font all the time. But they're between 2 and 4,000 words usually. Like sometimes like the chapter 12 that I was working on yesterday, I cut it in half because I realized the second part of the chapter, it made no sense for it to happen at night. So I had to move it to the next morning. So I cut chapter 12 in half to about like 1,500 words. So that was originally like around a 3,000 word chapter. But then the chapter after that is probably going to be like 4,000 words because there's a lot more action. So it varies, but they're always a lot like a little bit on the longer side. I never have a chapter, or at least usually, that's under 1,000 words. Diane is world building their new horror novel. Very cool. Oh, I love the world building process. The world building stage of writing is my favorite stage. I just like I love draft one and I love world building because you could just let your imagination go crazy and just like come up with all these like new ideas. It's so much fun. I hope that you're enjoying it. Yeah, I enjoy that part of it so much. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm working on it. I'm definitely trying my hardest to get this done. This is the fastest that I've ever like gotten a book ready for publication. Like if I weren't on this timeline and I was like publishing the book in October again, I would be not working with my editor yet and trying to like complete the draft before even starting. But I'm trying out this method to see if I can like edit and write at the same time to try to expedite the process. But we will see if it works. Hi, Andrew. Thank you so much for coming and writing with us this morning. I hope that you can stick around and do some sprints. Miranda said, I'm working on a project for my creative writing class. We are assigned to write a short story using vivid descriptions to describe a memorable event of our lives. Ooh, very cool. Do you have, Jesus, my light just fell. Do you have any idea what event that you're going to choose yet? Have you started writing the story? How many stories do you write for your creative writing class? I love creative writing classes. I learned so much about short story writing from creative writing classes. I don't really write that many short stories now, but once, like when I was in the academic environment and challenged to write to all these different prompts, I felt like I grew so much as a writer doing that. So that's super awesome. So if you were at my live stream last week, we had a lot of issues with 123 timer, but I'm very pleased to announce that 123 timer is working again. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, hi, Jennifer. Jennifer said they're revising their middle grade. Very, very cool. I don't write middle grade. I've never written middle grade before, but I have a lot of the members of my critique group write middle grade. So I read a lot of middle grade and I love reading it. It's always so fun to read. Haley said they're working on a new adult romance story, second story in a series I'm working on. Very cool. Oh, the second story is always so hard. I struggled so much writing this sequel to my book. Like, I think sequels are just the hardest because you have to try to figure out how to replicate the excitement of book one and why people liked reading book one while still making it different and raising the stakes, but not raising the stakes too much that like it's unbelievable and crazy. So it was such a challenge for me to learn how to do that. Renee said, filling in a few missing scenes for my YA sci-fi. Oh, very cool. Yes, I'm also doing that with mine because, I mean, what my draft looked like, or my draft 2 was a completed draft, and then I sent it to beta readers, and then I got feedback from beta readers, and then I realized that like I had to rewrite and restructure things, and like I could keep a lot from my original timeline, but I had to add a lot of chapters. So now as I'm kind of going through like chapter by chapter and sending it to my editor, I'll have like chapter 14 is completely written and chapter 15 doesn't exist and chapter 16 is like mostly written but needs a revision and chapter 17 is fine and then chapter 18 doesn't exist. So I have to like go back and fill in a bunch of scenes and hopefully it works. This might be a total train wreck, but I'm thinking that it's going to work. I'm feeling good about it so far. So how are we feeling about starting our first sprint? Do we want to start with a 20-minute sprint? And then I really liked how we were doing like 30-minute, maybe 35-minute sprints last time. That worked really, really well for me. I don't know if that also worked well for you, but unless I hear objections, I'm just going to go for it. I'm so excited that we can start using our favorite timer sound again. So here, let me share the screen. Let's see. Okay, cool. So yeah, maybe we start with a 20-minute sprint just for warming up, and then we can get into longer sprints. Piper said, I'm still writing my prequel to What's Wrong with Rosehip. Very cool. I hope it goes well. I hope you're able to make some headway on that today. Awesome. Good. I'm glad you like the idea of longer sprints. So do I. Miranda said, my memorable event story I'm working on will be a recent event that's quite personal to me. I'm suffering from 3 neurological diseases, so I'm sharing my story when oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, please, I don't want you to feel pressured to share anything. I was just, asking general questions, but no, I really, really hope that you're okay. And I hope that writing the story is an okay experience for you. Yeah, no, that's really scary. I'm also very, very glad that you are okay. That sounds like it was a really scary thing to go through. I'm sorry you had to go through that. So let's start our first sprint. And I hope that you all have a nice, productive first warm-up sprint, and I will see you after the timer runs out. Happy writing, everybody. Alrighty. How was the warm-up sprint for you all? That was pretty good for me. I realized that I'd actually sent the chapter to my editor last night and had just forgotten about it because I was so tired last night when I got home. So that was nice. So I just started writing chapter 14. I didn't count my words. I can count them now. It was not crazy productive. Yeah, I got 394 words, which I'm proud of. It was good. I had to figure out how I was going to open the chapter. So yeah, I mean, it's weird because like I've already written this chapter before, but I had it start with this like action sequence, and then afterwards they talked about the action sequence. So now I'm flipping it and having all the conversation that isn't about the action sequence happen beforehand, and then have the action sequence happen. So it's like most of the pieces are there. I just need to like, mess around with them a little bit to make them all fit together. So yeah, how was that for all of you? I saw a couple of people jumped in during that sprint. Hi, Alina. I'm so happy that you are able to join us. It is also nice to meet you. I hope that you'll be able to stick around and write with us because we all love writing too. Miranda said, I love writing because it's my therapy and it allows me to escape to another world. Yeah, writing is such a great escape. I love writing also for that reason. Isabella said, hi, just joined. Hi, Isabella. I'm so happy that you were able to make it, and I'm so happy that you joined. Hi, Diamond Book Rough. I'm also very happy that you were able to come today. Oh, you're plotting? Very cool. Yeah, plotting is super important. I also love the plotting process. I love just, being able to brainstorm and come up with ideas. I mean, like really my favorite parts of writing are the creative parts. The editing is important, but after a while I just get so exhausted trying to edit the book. Because when my the perfectionism part of my brain is activated and I'm like looking at the book instead of, oh, what's this cool idea that I could maybe play around with? When I'm looking at it through the prism of like, oh, now I have to like take it to the next level. All right, let's analyze it. It's not quite as fun. So Isabella said, I'm thinking about writing a fantasy medieval romance and I'm trying to get the resources right now. Ooh, that sounds cool. What kind of world are you built? Do you have like an idea for your medieval world? Are you going to like get really super technical with the world? Is it going to be like a historical fiction or like well, I mean, I guess not. It's if it's fantasy, but are there any like specific medieval worlds that you're drawing inspiration from? Hi, Writing with Alexa. Writing with Alexa said, I'm planning on co-writing with someone and we both have very different writing styles. Any tips for co-writing? I have never co-written anything, so I don't really have any experience with co-writing. When I was in early high school and middle school, I did like talk about story ideas and like kind of brainstorm story ideas with a friend of mine, but I was the one that actually wrote it into a story. So, I mean, that like the brainstorming part is pretty easy, I think, when you're co-writing. I mean, maybe not easy, but it's fun to bounce ideas back and forth with somebody. I don't know how I would approach co-writing. I think I really writing is such an individual thing to me. I think I would get very protective over my world and my characters and stuff. But I have an interview on this channel where I talk to two teen authors who co-authored books together. I think it's in my playlist, like how to publish a book as a teenager. The two authors were Jade Davis and Cheyenne Ingalls, I'm pretty sure. So they give a lot of great advice for co-writing if you want to go check that out. I just, don't like giving advice on things that I haven't done myself. Oh, this sound is so much better. See, yeah, that's why I love 1-2-3 Timer. That's why I was so bummed last week when 1-2-3 Timer wasn't working. Piper said, how do you hire an editor? So I found my editor through a Facebook group post. Like I made a post in a Facebook group of authors that I'm a part of, and I was saying that I was looking for a line editor, and that if they had any line editors that they'd worked with in the past, to drop them in the comments. And I reached out to like 10 different line editors, and a lot of the times line editors will do sample edits for you. So if you send them just kind of like a chapter, they will like edit that chapter to kind of show you the type of editing that they will do on the rest of your book. So I got a bunch of sample edits from a bunch of different line editors. And I just really, really loved this sample edit that my line editor gave back to me. He's a very hands-on line editor, so he will like make additions and suggestions for like little lines or little quotes or different little details that I hadn't really expanded on in my original draft. And I just liked how he was able to like help me and come up with ideas and point out things that I hadn't seen before. He didn't just like edit what I had written on the page. He like made suggestions to improve it. And I really liked the sample edit. And then I started working with him after that. But that was kind of a word of mouth recommendation. If you're part of writers groups or critique groups or Facebook groups, I highly recommend asking them which editors they use, especially if they're authors that you recommend. Also, what you can do is if you, I mean, you can't really do this with traditionally published authors, but if you self-publish, a lot of the times they will list the name of their editor in the back matter or the acknowledgments of the book. And they will thank the editor. So they can say like, to my wonderful line editor XYZ, and then you can go and like look up that editor and see if that editor is taking on new clients. So that's another way that you can find an editor. Yeah, that's how I did it. I've also found editors that I've worked with in the past through like Readsy posts or databases of editors. I'm pretty sure that Readsy has a big, long, huge like list of different like developmental editors that they work with or recommend. Also, if you're a member of the Alliance of Independent Authors, they have a complete online database of a bunch of different publishing resources, which I've used before, which has been helpful. There are a bunch of different ways that you can do it, but definitely like Google searching has been very, very helpful to me. Renee said, I only got 220 words. That's plenty. What do you mean only got? That's huge. That's awesome. Miranda said, I cooked and ate breakfast with my mom during those 20 minutes. Now I'm ready to write. Awesome. I did that like half an hour before we started this live stream. I love having breakfast with my mom. It's awesome. Michaela said 188 words at the last 10 minutes. Very cool. I am happy that everybody is being so productive. Haley got 504 words. Wow, congratulations. I'm trying to balance the dynamics between like 8 different characters. Well, that's a lot of different characters. Are they all point of view characters? Because that sounds like a lot of different points of view to juggle. Isadora said, I ended up mostly reviewing some things to make my story work better. That's always super important. Kiss the Sky said, I watch for inspiration. Nice to see writers working. Oh, I'm so glad that you're watching it. Yeah, no, if you ever want to write with us, I always have so much fun writing with everybody in these streams. It's such a fun little community that we're building. Isabella said, oh yeah, advice for co-authoring. Yeah, I think so sometimes co-writing relationships can be very, very hard if people have different writing styles. So you have to make sure that you have a relationship that works well together, because yeah, it can be tough. Oh yes. Oh yeah, FaceTime is tough when you're working through FaceTime and virtual relationships too. And yeah, it's tricky. I wish you the best of luck though, but definitely, as Isabella said, don't try to push it too hard if it's not working for you and helping you out. Piper asked, do you make a lot of money off of writing? So there are a lot of self-published authors who do make a lot of money off of writing. Usually when you need to have multiple books out and you have to have multiple series out. So right now I don't make a ton of money. I make like enough money for me to be happy right now, but I'm still right at the beginning of my career. But I'm writing really quickly and I'm trying to publish as fast as I can and try to build that backlist. And in order to kind of establish yourself as a writer, it can be a little bit of, a long game at the beginning. And then once you have a backlist, it gets a little easier. But yeah, I'm working on it. Haley said, oh no, I'm only doing the point of views of 2 love interests, but they're all friends, siblings, and I'm planning on making stories for most of them. So I'm trying to establish their personalities. Oh, gotcha. I love series like that, where like you have a bunch of characters in one series and then in another series, you can dive into those characters' lives more. I love reading series like that because everything feels like so interconnected. It's like a cinematic universe. It's awesome. So how are we feeling about doing our next sprint? I think now I feel a little bit warmed up. I think I might go make myself another cup of coffee before, like right after we start the sprint. It is snowing like crazy in the East Coast right now. I don't know if any of you also live in like, the Connecticut, Massachusetts area. But it's coming down like crazy right now. So it's a little chilly. I might also have to get a bit of a sweater because where I'm in the house right now, it's a little bit cold. Oh, hi, Anjali. No, you're not late. We're still going. We're still going to be going for another, couple of hours. So yeah, if you want to stick around and write with us, you totally should. Piper asked, do you have any tips for coming up with a pen name? I don't use a pen name, but I think that just picking a name that is fun, that sounds like, depending on your genre, I know a lot of romance authors who will choose names that sound, romantic and whimsical. And, if you're writing fantasy, it's the same thing. Or if, it can depend a little on your genre. I know a lot of people also, also choose initials. So they'll do like the first two initials of their name and then their last name, which is also an option. I don't use a pen name, so I never had to come up with a pen name, but I don't know if, depending on what you're writing, I think Rosie Javis sounds cool. That's a cool pen name. Micah said we didn't have any snow. Oh yeah, no, only snow, rain. Oh yeah, no, we're getting tons and tons of snow, but it's all very like light, powdery snow. So snowy in New York and freezing. Yep, same here. I'm visiting my parents in Connecticut right now, and it is very snowy, but where I live in Massachusetts, we're getting a lot more snow and wind and huge snow drifts. So it's pretty crazy. I put a reminder on my phone for these friends. Oh, yay. I feel so honored. Thank you for doing that and for showing up. Oh, how did you come up with Shiloh's name? Oh, this is super boring. I just liked the name. I just really like that name. I don't know. I really feel like I should have a better system. So I had already named all of my main characters, and I'd named Shiloh already. And then I heard a really great piece of writing advice about going back into like the different like state registries. Like if you're writing a book in Minnesota, you can like go back to 1995 and see like the 100 most popular names in 1995 and pick kind of names from that to like make it a little bit more connected to the time and place that you're writing in. But I didn't know that advice when I named my main characters. I just named Shiloh because I liked that name. And then it also didn't really make a lot of sense for her to be named Shiloh because there's no way that her dad would have let her mom name her something. Like I feel like because he's so, like traditional small town sheriff, like he would have wanted a more like traditional name. But I put one line in there. I was like, justifying her name, and I left it just because I love that name so much. So yeah, I wish I had a better answer to that. But all of the 4 main characters were just named those things because I liked them. Actually, Francesca's name was originally Rochelle, but Rochelle and Shiloh sounded too similar, so then I had to change one of them. But I do also really love the name Rochelle. Haley said, oh, I live in Connecticut, and it is constant snow right now. Yeah, no, same here. Does a pen name have to relate to your name? Nope, not at all. A pen name is just, a name that you publish under that can be different from your real name. Then you don't have to tie your like real life identity to your writing identity, and you can keep it separate. But no, it can be whatever you want. Oh, Anjali said, I literally finished Echoes today, and I'm already more than halfway done with Anomalies. Oh, yay! I'm reading Anomalies too. Marissa is a good friend of mine, and her books are absolutely wonderful, and I am so enjoying Anomalies. Yeah, I'm going to finish that this weekend and post a review at the end of this weekend. No, I absolutely love those books. I'm glad that you're enjoying them. Oh, and I'm glad that you also like Shiloh's name. Oh yeah, it's yeah. I am not a huge fan of the darkness and the snow. Just January just kind of gets to me because I don't like waking up when it's dark outside, and because I wake up at 5 or 6 every morning, it's just like I just hate waking up every single day when it's pitch black because it feels like I'm waking up in the middle of the night. So yeah, it's tough. But to come up with names, I have a huge list on my phone and go testing them out, but I totally get the struggle. Yeah, I do keep a list of names that I like. I have a long list of names that I like, but I also have to figure out, names that fit the characters. I'll just oftentimes have a gut feeling like, oh, I love this name, but it absolutely does not fit the character that I'm writing. So one day, this is why I have I have started brainstorming ideas for series like that I'm going to write after They Stay is over because I need to start thinking about what series I'm going to start writing after this. And I'm so, so excited about it. And I have so many ideas written down on my idea document. I sat down for a couple of hours over the weekend and just really started brainstorming. I'm so excited. I can't wait to start using these names and writing these new ideas. It's gonna be really fun. I love the name Shiloh. Yeah, so do I. I really, really like it. I don't know why. Yeah, I love that name. Um, yeah, no, I really like the character of Gabe. I think that, for everyone who's wondering, these are Echoes and Anomalies by Marissa. Geez, I should know how to pronounce her last name better than I do. I feel like a bad friend. Lete, and they are fantastic. And I love those books, and you should read them. They're like middle grade, early YA science fiction, like X-Men meets contemporary romance. They're very, very, very cool. And I absolutely love them. And on that note, let's start our next sprint because I could chat with you all day, but we should make sure that we also keep on task. Yes. Oh, but yeah, quickly, plug for myself. I am published. I have a book out. It's called They Stay. It's a young adult supernatural thriller. It's about a girl named Shiloh whose little brother goes missing, and she has to kind of risk her life to find him. And one of her classmates can see ghosts and tells her that a ghost knows where her little brother is. So she has to decide whether she's going to believe in ghosts or she's not going to believe in ghosts and rely on, like, the law enforcement to go and try to find her brother. And she goes on this crazy, scary, supernatural adventure. It's like kind of Stranger Things level horror. It's not like really, really scary horror. But yeah, it's a young adult thriller. So, and they're all on Amazon. I have the ebook and the audio, or the ebook is on exclusive with Amazon, but you can get the paperback at Barnes and Noble and on Amazon and other paperback retail stores like Book Depository also has copies. And then the audiobook is on iTunes and it's on Audible and also on Amazon. So it is in many places. And the second book is coming out in April. So that's what I'm working on today, and that's coming out pretty soon. So yeah, let's start our next sprint. And I think that we're going to bump it up to, let's say, let's do 25 minutes this, or no, let's just go for it. Let's bump it up to 30 minutes. I'm going to share my screen. And I can't wait to get back into this chapter. I love this sequence that I'm going to be working on. This is very exciting. Okay, cool. So I'm going to start the timer. Happy writing, everybody. Happy productivity. And I will see you after our sprint. Alrighty, second sprint is over. How was that for you all? Was that productive? How many words did you get? Did you edit? Did you do other productive stuff? What did you do during that sprint? That was pretty good for me. I continued writing the chapter that I was writing, and I got 364 words, so no crazy high word counts from me, but I'm just like kind of rearranging, because I'm editing right now, I'm like rearranging the puzzle pieces of this chapter to try to make everything fit together the way that I want it to. So yeah, it was productive. It was good. I am happy about it. I just want to get this little section of talking and character moment out of the way so that I can get into the action stuff, because, you know, people read thrillers for the action, but I don't think that I'm a strong believer that the action is not as powerful if you are not connected to the characters. So you have to have both. Anyway, I saw there were a couple of you who came in during that sprint. I am so happy to see you. Hello, Better Days. Thank you so much for coming and joining us. Hello, Dia Rob. Is that how you say your name? Is it Dia or Dia? Let me know, because I want to make sure I get it right. Yes, I'm so happy. Hello, Morgan. Thank you so much for stopping in and doing some sprints with us. We also had a little bit of conversation happening. Isabella asked, anyone else seen Wheel of Time on Amazon? I wanted to watch it for book inspiration, but I watched it for a little, and then one scene was really traumatizing, so now I'm not watching it. But does anyone have any suggestions for medieval fantasy books or movies that aren't like that? I don't watch or read a lot of medieval fantasy, so I don't personally have any recommendations, but if you have recommendations for Isabella, please let them know in the comments if you do watch those. Anjali asked a question. How do you stop the urge from writing a crazy awesome ghost trilogy after watching a 45-minute long world building ghost video when you're already writing a contemporary novel? I wonder what video that might be. Honestly, my urge, because I always get excited by the new and shiny idea, especially when I'm frustrated with the book that I'm working on at the moment. So my recommendation would be to write about it, brainstorm if you have ideas for it, maybe start a little document for it where you can write different ideas and start fleshing it out in passing for now while you work on finishing your contemporary novel. And then after you're done with your contemporary novel, you can revisit it. And then by the time you revisit it, the idea is going to be pretty fleshed out and you're going to be all ready to write it. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. Diane asked, how long do you spend on world building and character development? Do you generally flesh the world and characters out first, or start writing and build everything out during revisions? So there's always a balance to strike with this, because I find that your world building and your actual draft has they speak to each other and they inform each other. Because if you want to do certain things, your world works for your story. Your world, you have to create a world that allows you to tell the story that you want to tell. So you don't want a world building decision you make before you start drafting to say to your later self that you can't write the book that you want to write. And you might not know that you want your world to be able to act in some way until you're actually writing the story. I will do a lot of world building up front, but I will always find that when I'm writing the story, I will come up with ideas that will require me to tweak the world a little bit. So I think that you don't want to spend too much time on world building and character development, because you're also going to get to know your characters as you're writing. So my recommendation would be to world build enough that you can kind of have an understanding of what your story is going to be and what can and can't happen in your world, because if you have a world or a book that relies heavily on world building, you're going to have to do a lot of revision to make sure that everything fits together right. But your first draft or your first couple of drafts are really about the exploration of your plot and your characters. And the act of writing that is how you get to know your characters and your world. So I don't know if you're a plotter or a pantser. Because I am a plotter, I like to do a little bit more of this up front. So I usually I like to plan out every single scene and every single chapter and everything. So I would world build enough to get me to the point where I can write an entire outline. But then when I'm writing, my outline is going to change. And then I'm not going to worry too much, or I don't know, I would draft it up until the point that I start getting really overwhelmed by how much I don't know about the world. And then I'd go back and world build some more and then keep writing. But make sure that you keep it as an organic process, because it's supposed to be an organic process. It's messy. I would get to know like your basic characters. Like, you know, when I started writing They Stay, I have Shiloh, who's very like, she loves her little brother. She's super loyal. She's super determined. She has a very black and white way of thinking, like very like right and wrong. There is no in between. So I knew that about her going in, but I didn't know all of the other little things about her until I started writing the book. I knew that Miles was like, you know, he was the editor of the school paper. He was a little bit nerdy. He was kind of dorky, and he didn't believe in ghosts. And then that's kind of all I knew about him when I first started writing. And then all of that, like all of the little things, like Miles loves Star Wars. Miles gets freaked out by this. And all that came while I was writing the book. So I had a general idea, and then, you know, it changes as you write. But definitely don't, if you feel yourself getting bogged down by how much world building and character stuff you're doing up front, don't be afraid just to move on and start writing, because you're going to learn a lot more about your world and your characters as you're writing. And you can always go back to the drawing board if you hit a place in your manuscript where you just can't keep going forward. I hope that helped. That got a little bit rambly. Hi, Brian. Good morning. I'm glad that you were able to get 32 words written, and that you can stick around and do some more sprints with us, and then you can get even more written. Denise asked, what is the name of your new book? So the book that I have currently out is called They Stay. And the book that I am working on now that I am publishing in April is called They Whisper, and it is the second book in that series. Diane said, I'm using Milanote to flesh out my creature. I love monster making. Oh, what is Milanote? I've heard of that before, but I don't remember what it is. Is that like an art software, or is it like a text? I honestly, yeah, the name sounds familiar. I just don't remember what it is. Oh, hey, yes, it was great. I just finished the 5th chapter. That's awesome. It's such a good feeling when you finish a chapter and you're able to, like, you know, finish it, move on to the next one. I like finishing things. It feels good. Piper said, I'm working on writing chapter 14. Very exciting. I also am working on writing chapter 14. So twinning. Thomas said, it went well, 158 words written. Total manuscript is up to 3,529 words. Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations. Jennifer said, revised a chapter. Very cool. Everybody is being so productive this morning. My goodness. Miranda said, I wrote my outline for my memorable event short story and started it writing 95 words. Very cool. How long do your short stories for class usually go? We weren't allowed to go over 10 pages when I did my short stories for class. But I don't remember the word count. It was like the double space Times New Roman, which I hate writing in Times New Roman. I'm very strictly an Arial writer, or like Helvetica. I like those kind of styles. I've been writing in Roboto, weirdly enough, lately. I don't really know why, but just mixing it up a little bit. Haley said 585 words, and I totally agree with needing to be connected with the characters to be engaged in the story. If I'm not feeling something for these people, I'm usually not sold on the book. Yeah, I agree. Like, if I will not keep reading a book if I don't care about the characters, because like the action just isn't exciting if you don't care whether the characters get out of it or not. Like, you know, it could be a really exciting action sequence, but if you're not invested in the outcome, who cares? You know? That's real. Yeah, I'm so glad that the advice helped. Yeah, I'm also a hardcore plotter. So yeah, just figure out as much about it as you need to in order to like move confidently into starting your draft. But, you know, don't go crazy, because I hate this. I hate the fact that they have to communicate with each other, because I would much rather have everything worked out at the beginning and then write it. But I always run into problems later while I'm drafting and then have to go back and world build more and then keep going. Bite asked, how would one go along writing their first book and publishing it, specifically scientific and philosophical topics? So I'm not sure if you mean fiction. I don't really know very much about publishing like nonfiction scientific and philosophical books. This is such a broad topic. I have a couple of videos on this channel about like how to start writing your book and like how to kind of, you know, start putting pen to paper, which might be helpful. It really, like, how you go about doing that is depends on a lot of things. But I think you really just kind of have to start. There is no magic formula for like getting yourself ready and getting it written. You just have to decide that you want to do it and start showing up and like really learning and committing and writing and, all that sorts of stuff. So yeah, check out the other videos on my channel for more like better advice on this. It might be able to like, give you some tips that would be more helpful. Michaela said 416. Very cool. Congratulations. Hi, Jenna Writes Romance. I'm so happy that you could stop by. I hope you can stick around and do some sprints with us. Miranda said, we have no boundaries in my class. My longest story for class so far has been 14 pages. That was a paranormal romance thriller about a vampire who murders her lover in order to save her vampire. Ooh. Oh, save her vampire kingdom from the wolves. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, huh? Yes. Oh, very cool. Oh, creepy. That is creepy. Whoa. I told that story in the perspective of her shoes as the narrator, since that was the challenge. It was extremely difficult. Whoa. Oh, that's really cool. I've never written a story from the perspective of like an object before. Oh, that would be really, really, really cool. Yeah. Okay. I need to try that now. That would be so fun to tell a story. I wrote some like poems about inanimate objects when I was in a poetry class, but telling a whole story from the perspective of shoes sounds like a really cool exercise. It does sound really hard. Denise asked, what are your books about? Summary. Yeah, so I write young adult thrillers with a supernatural twist. I have the series that I have out right now is called They Stay, and the first book is about a girl named Shiloh whose little brother goes missing. They live in an abusive household. She is really, really protective and absolutely loves her little brother more than life. And one day he goes missing after t-ball practice, and he is 6. And she just, freaks out and sets out to find him because her abusive father is the sheriff and he's not really mobilizing the way that she wants him to be, and they can't find him and there are no leads. And she goes and investigates, some other kids that have gone missing in the hopes that it will lead her to her brother. And then this girl approaches her who she goes to school with, who everyone thinks that she's crazy because she has the ability to see ghosts. But this girl who can see ghosts tells Shiloh that a ghost told her where Shiloh's little brother is. So Shiloh has to decide whether she's going to believe her classmate and believe that ghosts are real and embark on this like paranormal adventure, or if she's going to continue with what she's been doing, trying to find her brother. And what happens is, this crazy high stakes supernatural mystery where they try to find and rescue the Shiloh's younger brother. And yeah, so it's got ghosts in it. It's got like missing kid tropes, like, bad boy with heart of gold tropes, small town tropes, all stuff like that. So book 1 is up on Amazon right now. The ebook is exclusive with Amazon, but the paperback is in Barnes & Noble and Amazon and Book Depository and all sorts of different paperback vendors. And the audiobook is on iTunes and Amazon and Audible. So yeah, and book 2 is coming out on April 12th, so very soon. Oh, Byte asked, meant more what software to write in. How does one format it? Oh, okay. Yeah, so there's so many different options for formatting. With writing, I always use Scrivener to write my drafts in, and then I move it to Microsoft Word. I really like Scrivener. I made a video also, I think, called like what writing software to use or something, where I kind of break down all the different softwares that I like to write in. But you don't need Scrivener to write. You can write novels in Word. You can write in Pages. You can write in Notes. This is a really personal decision, and it depends on what kind of writer you are. And I wouldn't worry about formatting until you've actually like written an entire manuscript. So I use Vellum to format. I know Reedsy also has a formatting software. There are a bunch of, and I think Atticus was just launched, which is also another great formatting software. You can also format in Draft to Digital, which has a great formatting software. So there are a lot of different options, but I wouldn't worry about that until you've actually written your book. Hi, BF. Oh, I'm glad that you were able to join us. Of course, I'm happy that you were able to join our sprint today. Miranda said that story is called A War with Two Souls. Oh, great title. Oh, that's very, very cool. That sounds really that would be really fun to write. Michaela said, "I've written a short story from the perspective of the magic mirror in Snow White." Oh, that's cool too. Oh, yeah, you have me all excited now. Now I want to go try writing a short story like this. The problem is that my vampire main character falls in love with a human, so she has to murder him in order to keep the secret safe and keep the peace between the vampires and the wolves. Oh no. Oh, that makes a really good short story. Your poor vampire main character though, and that poor human. That's so sad too. It's a good plot of a thriller. Isadora said the sound on my headphones didn't work, and I got so caught up in my work I didn't even notice. Yeah, well, I think the timer sound should be working this time. I also have been wearing headphones and listening to soundtracks as we have been doing sprints, but I have the volume turned up all the way on my computer. Oh yeah, so everybody, so also check the comments. Check the comments because other people are dropping in software recommendations for writing. Oh, thank you. I just got a haircut the other day. I really like this new hair. I mean, I got a haircut. I cut it I just cut an inch off. Nobody could notice that I had gotten a haircut. I came home and I was like, oh, look at my new haircut. And nobody could tell. But yeah, I liked my new haircut. All right, so are we ready for our next sprint? I am going to, I think let's do another 30-minute sprint. I think that was good. Or actually, let's bump it up to 35. We've been chatting a lot. I think we really kind of need to buckle down today if we're going to get the rest of what we want to get done. So I'm going to share the screen. Oh, I did not cut it myself. No, I went to the hairdresser to get my hair cut. My mom had been cutting my hair for a while, and I did cut my hair by myself in college a lot, but sometimes it would result in really unfortunate. I was not good at cutting my hair. I had this little pair of kitty dinosaur scissors, and sometimes I would just say I need a change, and I would tie my hair into ponytails, and then I would just cut the end off, and then it would be all chopped and uneven. And yeah, that's is not where my talent lies. All right, so let's start the sprint. Good luck, everybody. I wish you all the best productivity and writing vibes for this sprint, and I will see you after the sprint. All right. How was that sprint for all of you? I had a good sprint. I finished I didn't finish all of chapter 14, but I finished the opening section of it. So like now I can just kind of go into the action sequence, which is going to basically stay the same. I just need to make like a couple of little tweaks. So it'll probably only take me another like half hour to finish the chapter, and then I'm going to send it to my editor. But I am getting super hungry. So I think that is going to be our last sprint of the day because I need to go eat some lunch. I can feel my energy starting to fade a little bit. But yeah, I hope that was good for all of you. Yep, I see that some other people have the same idea as me. I am about to go break for lunch too, Jennifer, so you are not alone. Yeah, thank you all so much for coming and sprinting with me this morning. I am going to do another sprint next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, the same time as I do them every week. I'll probably only do 2 next month, but right now I'm on a bit of a roll with these live streams, so I think I'm planning on doing most Saturdays, if not all Saturdays in February, which will be exciting. So if you want to come and write with me again next week, put a reminder in your phone, or just like show up or remind yourself on YouTube. I haven't actually scheduled them yet, but I will do that probably this week. Yeah, thank you all so much. It made me so happy to see all of your wonderful names in the chat, and I will see you next week for some more sprints. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you have a wonderful week, everybody. I will see you next